So this past year, it's been an experience, an experiment that I'll never forget. And I thought I might share how I'm feeling and how I've been going this year with everything, as well as some of the things that I think you should understand about some of the low points in medical school and some of the difficulties you might experience. I made this video partly so some of you out there who are going through a difficult period or in a similar position to me don't feel so isolated. And I'd also like to share some pearls of wisdom that I've kind of accrued over the last couple of years that I thought might help someone. So if you enjoy this video, leave a like or something, or even share your experience in the comments. I'd really love to hear people's experiences. But yeah, let's get into it. So, mental health check for me in terms of how I'm going right now. I'm feeling pretty good. I've been managing to exercise all the time. What else have I been doing? Oh, my girlfriend moved here last week into the same city as me, so that's awesome. And I can spend time with her. I've been wasting time with her. And but that doesn't mean the exam process has been easy at all. I still get that feeling every day. I'll open the question book or my flashcards and be like, oh my god, I have no idea about this. And you just realize how little you actually know. But you just gotta keep trucking on. The first thing I want to talk about was imposter syndrome. So this is something I felt so many times this year, and I feel like it's exacerbated on those days where I'm just not getting things right, and the teacher asks me a question, I'm like, I have no idea, and mumble some sort of response. And I feel like those are the days when you feel really inadequate, especially when you're used to being a high achiever and you really strive to be the best and you're put into medical school. But look, you just got to recognize you have bad days. Everyone has bad days. Even the smartest people in my grade, some days they just don't know what's going on, and that's so fine. On the contrary, on the flip side, recognize the days that you actually do something really good and have a bit of, gain strength from those moments, because they'll really push you to try and improve yourself and be better. As long as you don't fall into a hole or focus too much on the negative, you'll be fine. It's always important. Remember the big picture. Now, the second thing I wanted to talk about was hiding your true feelings at the moment. So, it's so tempting in medical school to kind of hide how you truly feel. And doctors and medical students are terrible culprits of it. And there's a lot of people who are afraid to talk about mental health issues that they're going through, or afraid to reach out, afraid to have a diagnosed mental health condition because they're afraid that it's going to affect their career progression, or because of the stigma around it, or because they're afraid of what their peers will think. And I think that's really sad that kind of culture still exists in medical school, but I think we've come a long way in 20 years. I feel like the breadth of services that are available now is extraordinary, that you can reach out to. And a lot of the tutors that I speak to that went to med school like 20 years ago, they tell me about how much of a great appreciation and understanding we have of mental health, especially with doctors. And, seek support. If you think someone is struggling, or you're struggling yourself, exercise compassion. Really be compassionate to others than yourself, and try to seek help and reach out. Don't force yourself to just try and fit in and hate every moment of it. The worst thing you can do is just be quiet now, and it lead to really bad consequences down the track. That's deep. Anyway, so I don't mean to burst anyone's bubble, but there's a good chance if you're in medical school that half the people are going to be average. It's, you know, it's the most likely thing that's going to happen. And if you, just because realizing that you got an average score or something does not mean that you have an excuse to be hard on yourself. Honestly, remember that you're studying with some of the most intelligent people in the country. Just because you're doing average in this particular course does not mean that you are average in greater society, and you should really, pat yourself on the back for getting this far. And don't think you're not going to be a good doctor because your marks are average. There are plenty of people who have struggled and gone through periods where they weren't doing even average, they were below average, and they managed to go on and do great things. I've linked an article down below in the description of a doctor who shares their story about depression and suicide, and I think it's really important that you read that because it's a great insight into a lot of what doctors and medical students feel at certain times. Okay, the last thing I wanted to talk about was exam results. So exams, love it or hate it, they're the best thing we have for assessing progress institutionally. But they're not the be-all and end-all. You should know that, yes, you should try and learn as much as you can. And yes, you should know most of it by the time the exam comes. But recognize that they can't assess everything. And there are probably things that you knew really well going to that exam that just weren't assessed. And by chance, your peers or one of your friends just happened to revise the right things and got a really good score. That doesn't mean that, he's better than you, or you're getting into that mindset where, you think you're not good enough. Don't be disheartened by your grades, and, again, look at the bigger picture. So, that's all I really want to talk about. The 3 things I wanted to say that came out of that. Stay safe. I'm doing good. Look at the bigger picture and seek help when you need it. Alright, this is Cher. Bye.